Hi, I'm LK Prizant, and I'm a senior analyst at Mercury Fund. So over the last 10 years, Mercury Fund has been investing in software and science companies. But recently, we're finding these areas are converging into something we're calling cloud biology. The next revolution in science isn't happening in the lab, it's happening in the cloud. So Mercury Fund is based in Houston, Texas, but we invest all throughout the U.S. mid-continent, and we're highly thematic in our investments, and cloud biology is a theme that really has excited me lately. But in order to understand what's happening right now, we need to understand how we got here. So over the last century, science has been speeding up. Thanks to improved methods, machinery, access, more people are involved in more science than ever before. But not only that, the pace of applied discovery has increased as well. One example, it was first proposed in 1546 that germs cause disease. However, it took 300 years for that to be transferred into doctors washing their hands before surgery. We sped that up, and in the 20th century, we were able to get monoclonal antibodies into approved therapeutics in just 22 years. That's one of the biggest wins in our fight against cancer so far, and it's a lot harder than washing your hands. Technology was speeding up too. We went from the first personal PC to the iPhone computer in your pocket we have today. Simply put, technology and science have been on a collision course. And that leads us to today. It's the era of cloud biology. The evolution of scientific discovery is going to be driven by big data, cloud computing, and machine learning. So in order to look at what's happening right now, I put together a sample of almost 80 companies in the cloud biology space. And pretty quickly, a framework emerged. There were technological drivers that are creating change in a variety of applications and changing the way science is done in a variety of industries and areas. And cloud biology is happening right now for a reason. So the drivers are ubiquitous. Big data is everywhere, it's usable, it's available and growing, thanks in part to the decline of cloud storage costs. And the sequencing cost of doing a genome is now 95% cheaper than it was just 5 years ago. So I took that same sample of 80 companies and tagged companies based on what applied to them. So the drivers and applications are color-coded. And as you can see, the size of circle means how many companies apply to that area. And the thickness of the line means how many connections there are between them. Looking at this same sample another way, here's a tree diagram to show the ecosystem and some early leaders. You're no longer just a therapeutics company. You're a therapeutics company driven by big data. You're no longer just an imaging company. You're an imaging company that's harnessing machine learning to be more efficient and effective. So here's an example from our portfolio, Benson Biosystems, which is based right here in St. Louis. So Benson is harnessing machine learning, cloud computing, big data to create a genomics engine to drive increases in crop yield and photosynthesis. They're a pioneer, and they were actually the first ones to coin the term cloud biology. Another example is Twist Bioscience. Now you've heard me talk about drivers and applications, but this is a company that turns that model completely upside down. Twist is using science to actually inform its technology. So they figured out how to encode data for long-term storage inside synthetic DNA. So going back to my sample of 80 companies, they've already attracted a good amount of venture funding, though many are early stage. Notice on this graph, it's just the first half of 2016 that's mapped, but already we're on pace to beat 2015. And where is this money going? Well, not surprisingly, right now it's concentrated on the coasts, but there's a lot of opportunity in the mid-continent. The resources, the talent, and the research funding is there. I think VC funding will follow. And notice how St. Louis and Austin are leading the pack. So I also mapped the 4 major cloud biology drivers on Google Trends, which looks at the relative interests of searches on Google. They're really growing in the public mainstream, as shown here, which gives us an idea about how these trends are spreading. And when you look at it regionally, more patterns emerge. Notice how it starts on the periphery, then moves inward and becomes more intense. I think there's a lot more convergence that we're going to see happening in the mid-continent with this science and technology coming together. In conclusion, I'm extremely excited about cloud biology, and I hope you are too. It is early, yet I think the opportunity is there, the timing is right, and the transformation is already happening. Thank you.